the other interesting thing is we were going over to Korea, and there was a lot of minefields and stuff that was still there uh, that had to be, taken care of. So we were trained in, neutralizing minefields. And I know the thing that really amazed me is these Bangalore Torpedoes. Ooh. They, lengths, I think they came in 8-foot lengths, and we'd string sometimes, 24 feet of them. And when they were set off, they made a heck of a bang. And they opened up everything. They took care of the mines, and the barbed wire, it was almost rolled up, So, yeah, bridges, Bailey bridges. We were, building Bailey bridges quite often, and then we had to get into building without metal, wooden bridges, and that was a little interesting. We actually moved down to Virginia, AP. What the heck
Hill?
was that? AP Hill, yeah. And I remember we had a week there, I think, with that type of bridges. So the training was, quick, but
Did you enjoy working with explosives?
not particularly, because
You gave them a lot of respect.
I did, absolutely, absolutely. I see what they did, and I don't know if I put the negative with the positive, if that would have. So I didn't want to take a chance too much with that stuff. So we were just, given a touch of everything, and then got the papers to move to Korea, and we were ordered to go to Seattle. Fort Lewis, Seattle. And then from there, I think we spent about a week in Seattle just getting most of our equipment. We didn't actually carry too much equipment. Most of the stuff was over there. Double bag clothing and stuff, but most of the stuff was there in Korea that we picked up at our own base. But
How'd they transport you from the East Coast to the West Coast?
we had to get there ourselves. Some guys were able to get on a train. A friend of mine, Roger Lemoyne, I think it was on a train. I think he went to, he might have gone into California, but I was going to Seattle. So we had to get to Seattle. We were given money for travel. So I remember taking a DC-3 out of Worcester Airport to Idlewild, New York. And then from Idlewild, flying to Seattle by way of St. Louis. And then Great Falls, Montana. And we were there, I think, because it was an overnight flight. So we fueled, I think, in St. Louis, and then went up to Great Falls. Now, this was November, and I think it was colder than the North Pole. Very, very cold. But then from there to Seattle, a DC-6 4-engine.
Right.
That was getting there, and then, of course, there we didn't do too much in the at camp or base. More or less, just getting acclimated to what we need and where we're going, and
Just get ready to get ready.
get ready to get ready. I guess that's about it. And then it was just on a bus to the boat, the USS Marine Lynx. Carried about 3,000 people, and I remember it was November, going going out of the Puget Sound. It's quite a ways to get to the ocean. So everybody's all happy and there's nothing. It's like a lake.
Yep.
Then later on,
When you get out of the sound.
yeah, it was a rude awakening. But I really didn't get seasick totally. I didn't vomit at all. I was very wheezy, but I laid down and I don't know. I got over it. I didn't get seasick at all. And of course, on a ship, you get all kind of duties. So I didn't get into the KP or any of that stuff. They thought I'd make a good guard. Now, I was a guard on the bow of a troop ship in the middle of the Pacific. Now, I don't know who was doing all the thinking. Of course, I guess we didn't have that sophisticated radar.
Right.
But that's what it was, and we went to Whittier, Alaska, and dropped off about, I don't know, 600 or 700 guys at Whittier, Alaska. And then from there, we went to Sasebo, Japan. And Sasebo, well, that was an experience of mine that I cannot ever forget. Being on guard duty, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're pulling into Sasebo around 5. I'm getting off of guard duty at 6. Well, the Merchant Marine don't like to leave all the facilities open after 6. I'm getting off for duty at 6, and there's no facilities that I can go to. Everybody's yelling, "Get your bag, get up on deck." No, I've been on guard duty since 4 o'clock.
And it was probably cold.
Well, no, Sasebo, Japan was warm.
Was it warm?
That was a help. We didn't have winter clothes on. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah.
But, you know, get up in line now. 8 o'clock. We're standing in line, and I'm getting very nervous, fidgety. Down a ramp, on a bus, 9 o'clock, 9:30, into some building there at Sasebo. Get your orders. I said, where's the facilities? You couldn't move. You had to get your orders. You get in line and stay there. Whew. I didn't get to a facility until around 11 o'clock that morning.
Oh, God.
I said, I'll never do that again in my life. Never. But one of those experiences you don't forget.
Oh. How long was the ride over from the West Coast to Sasebo?
I think that was, you know what, 6 days, I think.
Uh-huh.
I think it was 6 days.
And then how long did you stay in Sasebo?
Just the same day. The same day that we got there, we went through our processing, and then we moved to an LST, and the LST took us over to Busan. And on Busan, right onto a train, so we were riding, you know, moving all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the trains were rather crude. There was an American diesel engine that was pulling, but the cars were club cars that were like wooden benches, very crude, so you couldn't really sleep, and the rails aren't that even, but we got up to, where do we go? Beyond Seoul, up to Uijeonbu. I think that was the point that we got to, and then we got on dump trucks to go to the 71st Engineering Battalion, which was in Tongducheon, very close to the 38 parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And your assignment was?
my assignment was, when I got there, I was going on a water point, because they were thinking of using me in the PX or something, because I had some limited grocery store experience, very limited, but Then they says, well, you know what? We need somebody down a water point. Well, I was assigned to a water point.
So you left Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and you had some engineering, combat engineer training.
Yep.
And they get you to Korea, and they were going to throw you in the PX.
Well, it was an engineering outfit. So,
Oh, that's okay then.
well, yeah, it's a combat engineer battalion.
Yeah.
And that was the battalion. That was headquarters. We were actually, you know, reporting to the headquarters commander, and all the little companies were doing other things. You know, either taking care of roads or bridges or mines or whatever. But they also had responsibilities to produce water. So I got assigned to a water point. And
And there were how many men there with you?
7.
7 guys.
7 guys. And we were in an area that was secure. However, of course, the river, you know, snaky. We were on like a little peninsula. And right on the side of us was originally there was a 7th Division. I think they had an armored battalion, tanks and stuff. And then they left, and that area was used by the Rock Army, the Koreans. And they had their real old deuce and a halfs, World War II models, you know, because when the armored division was there, they had modern equipment at that time, the newer trucks and of course the tanks and everything. But when the Rocks came in, they brought all the World War II stuff with them. And they didn't stay too long, but on the other side of them was still, you know, a lot of mines, minefields, and caves, because it was very hilly, and there was a lot of caves that the North Koreans used for, you know, storage, munitions or whatever, because there used to be a lot of Air Force fighter jets. When they had their practice runs, they would use that particular area, which is about a half a mile from where our water point was. And, you know, they'd come in and strafe and blow up things. And well, it's a good thing they blew them up, because we didn't know, we didn't want to step on
You
it.
didn't know there was anybody out there.
That's right.
Yeah. And you had told me earlier that there were a couple of times where somebody had made a cut through the tent, and a couple of guys had got their throats cut.
Not at my water point. That was at the other water point that I got moved to. Not at mine, because we didn't have too many North Koreans. Well, we called them Slicky Boys. We don't know if they were North Koreans or just criminals.
Just troublemakers. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there was a lot of North Koreans that, you know, they were trying to find their way back home, I'm sure, and they did a lot of, yeah, but that was at the other water point, not where I was.
And that concludes segment 1 of my conversation with Walter Wainer as we discuss his experiences in the Korean War. Join us again for part 2. Thank you for watching Day Trip to History. And remember, we're all living history right now.